Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be giving you an update on the pattern which is going to be changing a little bit over the next couple of days. We're going to be seeing the Northeast and Ohio Valley change, especially from a colder pattern to a bit of a warmer one, and I think probably by the end of the month it'll go back to a bit of a colder pattern. Warmer conditions expected out through the west and chillier for parts of the southeast and the southern plains. Before we get into today's video, I do want to talk about the upcoming videos, the longer range videos, which I'll be uploading from the 9th through the 15th. So from this upcoming Sunday all the way until the next Saturday. So that would be from the 9th through the 15th. I'm going to be making a bunch of longer range videos. So here's the upcoming schedule. I'll have my August forecast out on the 9th, the fall forecast out on the 10th, the fall foliage forecast on the 11th, the winter forecast on the 12th, the total snowfall forecast on the 13th, the first snowfall forecast on the 14th, and the first frost forecast on the 15th, and then after that on the 16th and beyond, I'll go back to my regular upload schedule where we talk about daily events and current weather events. So very exciting. We have those videos up for you guys, and that's going to be coming out next week. So that entire week I'll have my long range forecast on any of those videos. If you want to, you can leave a comment down below and just ask for a personal forecast, or if you have any questions about the forecast, just let me know down below and I'll answer them within a few hours of you posting them. And also make sure that you leave a like on this video and all of those videos when they do get uploaded as well. So getting right into the video here, here's the National Weather Service page. You can see that we have some excessive heat warnings in parts of Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, as well as for parts of California, Nevada, and Arizona. We have some heat advisories in parts of California and a little bit of Oregon as well. And then we have some red flag warnings also in parts of central and eastern Oregon. We have some flood watches which are currently in effect for the spine of the Rockies, which goes all the way from Montana through Idaho and all the way down into parts of New Mexico. So pretty much the entire Rockies, the entire Rocky Mountain chain will be dealing with some fairly active precipitation and also some rainfall that could cause some flooding, especially considering that a lot of these areas further up north haven't seen a lot of rainfall recently. We also have some air quality alerts in effect on the east side of the Rockies, as well as for the entirety of Minnesota and Iowa. And then we have a few heat advisories in effect for parts of southern Florida. Yesterday we had a high temperature of 115 degrees in Death Valley, California, with a low temperature of 35 degrees 9 miles south of Albany, Wyoming. The highest rainfall report was in Nashville, Tennessee, where they got 3.43 inches of rain, and there were no snowfall reports as of yesterday. Here's a look at the European model and what it's expecting for the temperature anomalies. You can see that to start off the week, so this is for tomorrow, you can see that we're expecting below normal temperatures. Those are going to be indicated in the blue, green, and purple colors. And once you get into the orange, the red, or even the brown colors up further to the north, that's when you're going to start to get into the warmer temperatures. So starting off the week, you can see that we are expecting these colder temperatures to stay in place for parts of the east and also even into the central United States, with some of those warmer temperatures in through the northern plains, parts of the northwest, even down through parts of the southwest. We have a big high pressure which is just kind of sitting up into western and central Canada, and that's kind of steering the entire flow and the entire pattern around that high pressure. So we're dealing with really warm temperatures up there, and then you're dealing with troughing on the other side of the high pressure, which is somewhat like this. This is what the trough sort of resembles. You have one low pressure down here, and then you have another low pressure which is up here. And that's the general signature of this pattern. Again, this would be for tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And then if we move this on to Wednesday, which would be August 4th, you can see that we also have colder temperatures still expected for these areas. But again, just like you saw on the thumbnail and in the beginning of this video, I do think this will change. I think we're going to see this go from colder to warmer for about 10, maybe even 15 days. And then again, I think probably by the end of the month, we'll probably wrap it up with a bit of a cooler stretch of weather just based on some of the longer range guidance that I've been seeing. So again, this would be by August 4th, which is Wednesday. You see that we have a little bit of a stripe of warmer temperatures all along the northern tier of the US, and then even in parts of the southwest, it's also getting a bit warmer into these areas. If we go to Thursday, you can see that we have two main areas of much cooler temperatures. We have one in the southern plains and then another one which spans pretty much the entirety of the east coast. We then have a little bit more of a broader area of warmer temperatures, which goes from parts of the Great Lakes through the northern plains and even into the southwest. So you're starting to see that this area of warmer temperatures is heading further to the south, and this area of colder temperatures is kind of retreating to parts of the southern plains and the southeast and along the east coast. So you're going to see that continue, and again, areas of the Tennessee Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Ohio Valley. These are going to be the areas that are really going to be in the transition zone, which are going to go from the colder temperatures to the warmer temperatures. And that's the main thing that I want to highlight in today's video. If we look at for Friday, you can see that we are still expecting these colder temperatures along the east coast and the southern plains and the southeast. But if you live in parts of the interior northeast, the Ohio Valley, and even up through parts of the Great Plains, we're now dealing with a bit of a warmer pattern in place. So we're starting to see some of those warmer temperatures take place there. If you live in the northwest, we're actually going to see the reverse of what's happening along the east coast. So instead of going from colder to warmer, you guys are going to go from warmer to from warmer to colder. So we're going to be dealing with a bit of a shift there. So that'll be definitely one of the things that you also want to pay attention to. If you live in that area, we will be dealing with a big shift from warmer temperatures to colder temperatures, and that's because the warmer temperatures will be leaving and moving to the central and eastern U.S. So that's going to be filled in with some colder temperatures. If we move on to Saturday, you can see that we're expecting now the colder temperatures pretty much retreating to the southern tier of the U.S., so in the southeast and also into the southern plains. Now we're dealing with a bit of those milder temperatures. None of these temperatures will really be too outrageous. So even if you are in that above normal area, and let's say that you really want it to be colder than normal, just because this summer has already been very, very warm, it's not going to be too unbearable, considering that these temperatures will only be maybe 5-10 degrees above normal. Your average high temperature in most of these spots are 80-85 degrees, so we're not dealing with anything that's going to be too outrageous. You might see a few areas getting up near 90 degrees, but even if this is just for 10 days, I think it'll be good enough. There really won't be too many impacts out of this, and I think again you will probably go into a bit of a cooler pattern right after this, once this area of colder temperatures cycles back in through the central and eastern U.S. So I'm expecting another cycle like this to happen, where we see the cold move into the east and the warm move into the west. So I'm expecting something like that to happen. So this isn't going to be anything of a permanent pattern. If we move on to Sunday, you can see that we're dealing with these warm temperatures in through the entire eastern U.S. except for the southeast and the southern plains. Colder if you live in the southwest or the northwest, and into the entirety of western Canada. I know I have a few viewers up in central and western Canada, and even a few in the northwest. And for those of you who have, I know, been complaining about all the warmer temperatures and all the dry conditions in through this area, it does look like you're finally going to get at least the colder temperatures. We don't really know about the active pattern. We don't know if you're going to get a lot of rainfall out of this, but it is definitely a possibility. Finally, this big high pressure will be moving out of the way, so you'll get at least a little bit of a relief from the warmer temperatures that these areas have been experiencing pretty much the entire summer. Here's a look at Monday of next week, and you can see that we're dealing with still warmer temperatures in through the eastern and central United States, except for the southeast and the southern plains. Northwest and western Canada still undergoing some fairly cold temperatures within those areas. Here's a look at the upper air pattern, and I just picked out a random day. This will be for Wednesday of this week, and you can see that we have your low pressure, which is kind of digging it down through parts of the Tennessee Valley. We have a bit of a ridge starting to build up over the top, but in reality, we actually have on the surface a low pressure, which is in eastern Canada. That's not going to show up on this map, but we do have it there. So we have a low pressure, which is centered up here. Again, it's not going to show up on the upper air map. If you were to look at a surface map, you would see that low pressure. And then we have a high pressure, which is in the west. And what's basically going to happen is that these two areas of low pressure will move out. You see that we do have this tiny little trough, which is in through the west coast. That's going to be the system that just lingers in through here. This high pressure will move out further to the east. So by the end of this week, we're going to have a pattern where we have a high pressure into the east, and this low pressure will be moving onshore. It'll strengthen as it does so, and it'll actually become a fairly big high pressure in or low pressure in through the northwest and western Canada. So that's generally the breakdown of what we're experiencing. We also do have some troughing or low pressure, general low pressure in parts of the coastal southeast and the Gulf Coast. And that's why those areas will either be near normal or even a little bit below normal in terms of the temperatures for this upcoming week and upcoming couple of weeks. If we look at the Climate Prediction Center forecast, this is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the 7th through the 11th. You can see that in the west, we're expecting colder than normal temperatures, and in the eastern 2/3 of the United States, it's expected to be warmer than normal, again, with the exception of the Gulf Coast, where we could be dealing with near normal, maybe even a little bit below normal temperatures. That would be the 6 to 10 day outlook. Here's the 8 to 14 day outlook, which goes from the 9th through the 15th, and you can see that we have warmer temperatures in through the east, and also along the west. We have a little bit of a neutral area in through the Rockies, and then below normal temperatures expected for a tiny area in Arizona, New Mexico, and western Texas. If we look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, for those of you who are more interested in the rainfall aspect of things, this is going from the 7th through the 11th, and you can see that we're expecting more rainfall in through the Great Lakes and less in through parts of the southeast and also in all the way to the Rockies. So that's very good news if you live in parts of the southeast, especially because we're expecting a lot of rainfall this week, and it looks like by next week you'll at least get a little bit of a break, even if it stays near normal with the precipitation or even a little bit below normal. It will be a little bit of a relief from the multiple inches of rainfall that you're expected to see this week and maybe even into the early part of next week. So that's good news for those of you who live in the southeast, that you will finally get a little bit of relief from the weather conditions which you have been dealing with recently. And if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook for the precipitation, you can see that we're expecting some above normal rainfall in parts of the east, and then in the west we're expecting some of those slightly below normal amounts of rainfall. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And also, again, just a recap of what I'm going to be doing in terms of the long range forecast. The schedule is going to be as following. On August 9th, I'm going to be releasing the August forecast. The fall forecast will come out on the 10th. The fall foliage forecast out on the 11th. On the 12th, we'll have the winter forecast. The total snowfall forecast coming out on the 13th. The first snowfall forecast coming out on the 14th. And the first frost forecast coming out on the 15th. After that, on the 16th and beyond, I'll go back to my regular daily uploads with the current weather events. But if you have any questions on those videos, make sure that you leave a comment down below on those videos, and I'll be responding to all of them like I do with all of my videos, and I'll be giving personal forecasts out on those videos. Also, make sure you leave a like on this video and also those upcoming videos. And also make sure you are subscribed and you have notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.